The call came on the third night. Unknown number. Late. The kind of ringing that doesn't ask permission. I knew before I answered that something irreversible had already happened. Is this her husband?" a man asked. Thin voice, tired, official. The room smelled like cold coffee and unfinished decisions. I stood by the window, watching my reflection fracture in the dark glass. "Yes," I said. There was a pause, long enough to sharpen my breathing. "We recovered the children." Children, plural. My wife's sister's children, the ones I had said no to, calmly, clearly. After 12 hours of work and 6 months of being treated like a free service, they weren't at the address provided, he continued. The taxi driver misunderstood. Wrong street, wrong city. My jaw stayed still. My thoughts didn't. They were alone for nearly 72 hours. Silence pooled between us. "They're alive," he said quickly, "but dehydration, exposure. One of them keeps asking why their mom didn't come." I ended the call before he could say her name. My phone slipped from my hand, and for the first time I wondered how long betrayal had been living in my house, wearing my wife's face. She cried when I told her. Not panic, not relief, performance. She sank onto the couch, hands shaking too late. Tears arriving on cue. She said she panicked, said her sister was desperate, said she thought I'd come around. But she never asked, she decided. That had always been her way, moving behind my back, then acting wounded when the world noticed. What she didn't know was how carefully I watched people lie. Her story had gaps. The taxi receipt she lost, the wrong address, written in her handwriting, the way she kept saying accident instead of mistake. And something else, something quieter, her phone lighting up at night, messages deleted but not forgotten by the cloud, a man saved as a woman's name. My mind resisted at first, clung to routine, marriage, habit. But betrayal leaves fingerprints, and once you see them, you never stop feeling them on everything you touch. I didn't confront her. I adjusted. I backed up her phone, pulled records she forgot existed, tracked the cab company myself. The driver remembered her, said she'd been laughing when she booked it, said she told him, "My husband will deal with it." That sentence lodged in my chest. Meanwhile, the messages formed their own confession. Plans, compliments, photos cropped to avoid reflections. Not just infidelity, contempt. She'd been seeing him for over a year, using family emergencies as cover, using me as infrastructure. I slept beside her every night, cataloging her breathing like evidence. I learned something in those days. Anger is loud. Clarity is silent. And silence is where strategy lives. The evidence assembled itself neatly. A timeline, screenshots, receipts. I printed everything. Paper is harder to deny. I laid it out on the kitchen table one morning while she made coffee. No words, just alignment. She saw it all at once. The color drained fast. "This isn't," she started. I held up one finger. Not angry, not raised, just final. "Tell me," I said evenly, "when you sent those kids to a stranger, who were you meeting?" Her mouth opened, closed. Truth collapsed out of her in pieces. The affair, the lies, the assumption I'd always fix things. She sank to the floor. I stayed standing. I felt nothing except precision. I didn't yell, didn't threaten. I forwarded everything to her sister, to our families, to the man's wife. Truth is sharpest when it spreads. Then I packed. Not in a rush, not dramatic. When she begged, I watched her realize something terrifying. I wasn't hurt enough to stay. "You let children suffer to control me," I said quietly. "That's not love. That's a test I passed by leaving." She screamed. I closed the door gently. I live alone now. The silence is clean. Sometimes I think about those kids, how close silence came to claiming them, how casually she gambled with lives to maintain her illusion. I don't miss her. I miss who I thought I was, before I learned how easily people trade morality for convenience. But I gained something better than innocence. I gained sight. And once you see clearly, you never go back to the dark voluntarily.